lovelies, it's Charlotte. I'm back for another episode of the Creative Goddess Show. It's Friday, of course. It always is when we have this time together, and it's Easter weekend, so that is super exciting. In the UK, I always find that Easter is a really lovely time of year to just kick back, take a bit of time out, and also have a bit of a spring clean, because I don't know about you, but I find that when I get to springtime, I'm kind of in the need for a bit of a reboot. Like the beginning of the year, we're still kind of in the middle of winter, so I don't feel like I'm having as much of a need for a reboot at that particular point. So I feel like when I get to April, and I know Easter is a bit late this year, but when it's sort of March, April time, I'm ready to kind of get out of that and really start just going outside a bit more and just feeling a bit more fresh and just getting myself like sorted out. Also, we've just moved back into our home after 6 months, which is pretty incredible, really. We haven't had a home for 6 months because, as you probably know if you've been listening, we went traveling for 3 months and we didn't come back at the time that we expected to. We actually came back 3 months earlier because of all like the COVID restrictions, and it was just a bit frustrating. So we came back early and we ended up staying with family for 3 months. So it's been a bit of a strange one, really. I think we kind of got used to just living somewhere else, but now I'm back, I definitely feel like I'm getting more of that positive energy from my own surroundings and really benefiting from it creatively. Actually, I feel like I am almost having that reboot just by moving back in and being surrounded by all my things again, and also having that ability to switch off and kick back in a way that feels really good for me. So yeah, I think that's a really important thing to have. I think as creative entrepreneurs, we need the right stimulation, but we also need to have the right sort of downtime as well, and ways of switching off. And I think having the right surroundings in your home for that is just so important. So yeah, it's been a bit of a busy week for me at the moment, and I'm also getting in the mood for my Action Takers program, which I'm super excited about, aimed at helping uninspired women lacking in confidence to really take back their power and really unleash their magic out into the world creatively by starting an online business. And it's just such a big like passion project program of mine. I really want to help women do this, because it's exactly what I went through when I was starting my business, having that process of like trying to figure it all out, finding the clarity, having the courage to take the action, and then working through all the mindset blocks along the way. So if you want to find out more about this program, definitely go and check out the link in the show notes, and you can go and check out the website page. And then you will also have an opportunity to book a free discovery call with me as well. Absolutely non-obligatory. You just have a little chat and find out exactly what it is you need, and if you like be a good fit for the program. So yeah, definitely go and check that out, because I'm super excited about it. I feel like I said, now we're in spring, I'm kind of getting those vibes of like rebirth, like taking back your power and really stepping into the right energy that feels really good for you. So it's a great time of year to be looking into doing that, I think, and just really connecting with our inner voice and what we really want to create for ourselves in our lives. So yeah, that is what I've been busy with behind the scenes at the moment. Also a few more exciting things which I will be releasing over the next couple of weeks. So keep posted. Make sure you're subscribed to my newsletter. That's where I will be sharing some more of my golden nuggets. So if you want to go and join my newsletter, I'll also put that link in the show notes too, because you don't want to miss out. So this week, I'm going to be talking about a topic that I shared on my Instagram page, and I just felt like I connected with it so much. I was really excited to put this post out, and I could just feel it, that the energy that I had inside of me when I was writing the caption, I was almost getting goosebumps because it felt so right. And I just love it when that happens. I don't know if you have these experiences where you're doing something that you know you should be doing, And like it was like you were meant to do it. You were supposed to share that message with other people and really help them in the process. So this post was all about putting creativity in a box. And my question that I put in the post was, are you putting creativity in a box and making it sad? Which I thought might be a little bit abstract. I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but I just went with it anyway because it felt right. And it was all about that whole thing I think a lot of us experience, maybe early in life, maybe we're still experiencing it now, where we have a view of creativity that is quite sort of narrow. We think creativity is just like one thing. We don't see it as a very broad thing or many things. It is just this kind of like rigid little object like sits in a box, and it's not for us, so we keep it in the box and we close the box and we say, look, I'm not creative. I have never thought that I've been creative, so it's going to stay in the box and I'm going to walk away. And I think this is something that so many of us experience, where maybe at school, I'm just going to have a sip of my cup of tea. Maybe at school, we are told by teachers that we are a particular thing. Because in a way, I think that is an easier process to go through for teachers and, anyone in like education, because, we're trying to figure out what we're going to do, we're trying to figure out who we are, and we kind of define this, I think, by what subjects we're good at, especially when we're younger. I feel like that is like almost the defining process for us. So we are putting these subjects into particular categories, and we have the arty subjects, we have the more creative subjects, like, English is quite a creative subject still, especially English literature. I did history. I would class that as, a more arty subject, because, it is writing at the end of the day. It's not sort of a yes or no response. So I was really good at subjects like history, art, and like mostly writing subjects, I would say. And I wasn't as good at the more logical subjects. And I think that is because I am just a more naturally creative mind. But the problem I faced was that I decided that I didn't want to do the creative subjects because the people around me weren't doing them as much. Most people were doing things like science and maths and whatever. So in my head, I was thinking, well, I must be in the minority if I was to do those creative subjects, and there must be a reason why most of these people are doing like the logical subjects. So anyway, what happened was I didn't take the arty subjects. I did take history, actually. That was the one subject I stuck with. But then I decided to drop art. I dropped French. I was quite good at French, actually. I got an A star. No, I got high A, actually, at GCSE. But I was quite good, and I decided I wasn't going to stick with it because I'd heard someone said it was too hard at A level. Anyway, so all of these off-putting messages and the way that my brain was working at the time led me to do mostly science subjects at A level. And I later in life realised that this was not the right thing for me to do. In fact, I realised it soon after because I didn't do so well in it, because I just wasn't in that right energy of like, I'm enjoying this, so I'm going to do really well at it. It was like, it was a tough slog. So that was a lesson for me. And I just want to reach out to the people right now who were at school and, maybe you were good at maths, and maybe you weren't so good at art, or those kind of traditional putting creativity in a box kind of subjects, which I like to call them. So maybe what happened to you was that you were told by others, maybe teachers, maybe other classmates, who knows, maybe even your parents, that you weren't a creative person because maybe you weren't fitting into that box at the time of what they were telling you creativity was. Maybe the assessments that you were doing, maybe they just weren't ticking the boxes. Maybe you were really good at maths, But maybe you were good at being creative too, but you just didn't know it. But you were told, because you weren't fitting into that box, that you were more logical minded, for example. Maybe you thought that it just wasn't for you. You are not a creative person. And it's so funny how many people I talk to about this who have been through the exact same experience that I have just mentioned. They have gone through this experience of thinking they're not creative. So then that's how they self-identify. They put themselves also in a box and say, this is not me, I'm not creative, and because I'm not arty, so that means that is the end of it for me and creativity. So they go in pursuit of a path that isn't creative in any way whatsoever, and they keep going in that direction, and they won't even try any creative paths in the future. Some of these people who I've come across, they have actually got to a point in their late 20s or in their 30s or in their 40s where they have realised that what they're doing actually doesn't light them up. So having not pursued the path of creativity, thinking they're not creative, it's more of a logical path that they need to take with their jobs, and maybe they want to work with numbers more, things like that. They've actually reached a point where they realised it wasn't for them what they were actually doing, and then they have reconnected with their creativity. Some of them have become entrepreneurs, and now they are really connecting with it. They're really unleashing what they had inside of them, and they probably had it inside of them all along. Maybe it wasn't ready to be unlocked yet. I mean, who am I to say? But they're reconnecting with it at a later stage in their life. And they have gone through life thinking that they're not creative. And I've spoken to quite a few women who have told me that this is exactly what happened to them. And I'm so happy that they managed to find their creativity in the end, and that they're really working with it now. They're really connecting with it, and they can only thrive now. It can blossom into something even more. But what my point is that when we're at school, I think it can be really damaging to be put in that box, because then we put creativity in that box, and we don't think it's something that is going to work for us. We don't think it's going to be what we want it to be in our lives. Like, for example, I didn't take the creative subjects at school because, well, yeah, I wanted to stick with what the majority of people were doing. I wasn't very confident in myself and my instincts, unfortunately, back then. I've managed to really work on that at my age now, but back in the day, I really struggled to stick with my convictions. I was told that I wasn't going to be able to get a job as a creative person. It was going to be really hard for me. I wasn't going to earn that much money. And to me, it was really important that I earned money at that time. So all of these factors led me to put creativity in a box. And I thought that was really sad, because now I know how great it is. I know what creativity can do. It can give you this incredible sense of purpose, and it can give you so much more fulfillment. It can give you a sense of wonder about the world and create so many opportunities. But I didn't know that back then, and I just really wanted to share with you today that I think it's a problem that some of us have gone through these experiences where we haven't been able to realise our creativity earlier on in life. And the experiences we've been through where we thought we weren't creative, they have led us to have these beliefs about ourselves, limiting beliefs, where we define ourselves as one thing. We are not creative because we didn't get a good grade in that painting exercise I did at school, or I got a low grade on that project when we did some printing. All these kind of experiences can really lead us to define ourselves in such a way that I think can be really negative. And I want to make everyone aware that it's so important to, especially for young people, I think, to really remind them that certain things don't need to be categorized in such a sort of certain way, like a specific way, where it's really going to potentially lead them to discarding that particular thing at that particular point. So to make more sense of that, if you define something with only one definition, then you're naturally going to say, well, that's for me, or it's not for me. But the problem is that there are many, many definitions and many, many versions of creativity, right? And this is what I've come to learn as an entrepreneur, as a woman, as a creative. I've come to learn that there are so many different versions of creativity, and it's just blowing my mind what people have done out there, what I have seen female entrepreneurs doing. Could be home organization. Maybe you have a really creative way of doing that. Maybe it's flower pressing. Maybe it's bookmaking. It could be a whole range of things for you, and it doesn't have to just be one thing. We can have many, many creative passions, and that's okay. But my point is as well, is that the task that you're doing doesn't necessarily have to be creative in the traditional sense as I have described. You know, creativity doesn't have to be painting, sitting there with your drawing pad doing a sketch outside. Doesn't have to be that. It can be so many different things. And inside of us, we make the process creative because we are so unique in ourselves. We have that unique approach, that unique way of shining and doing a process that someone else might do completely differently. So it's definitely something to think about, that what you're doing might not be a creative task in the traditional sense. You might have an incredible way of colour coordinating your wardrobe or something, and that is a creative skill, and you're probably downplaying it. You're probably saying to yourself, well, everyone can do this. No, they can't. It's a creative skill. Definitely is. So I just want to flag that one up to you, that if you're sitting there, maybe you're one of these people they've slipped through the net. They've been at school and they thought they weren't creative. Maybe that's you. Maybe you ended up going into a professional job or corporate job or something that maybe it didn't light you up. Maybe it didn't allow you to express yourself in that creative way that was deep down inside of you, but you didn't know you actually craved. But as time has gone by, you've reached a point where you're sitting there and you're realizing that there actually is something more inside, and there is something more that you desire. And maybe you're that person, and there are things that you enjoy, there are things that you're passionate about in your life, like some of the examples I've just mentioned, but you're downplaying it and you're saying it doesn't mean anything, it's just something I enjoy doing. But maybe that is your creative passion. Maybe it's your creative passion superpower, a phrase that I mentioned in my Instagram post yesterday. So it's important to be really aware of these things, I think, because we aren't always aware of what it is that we're doing and why we're doing it. This could be the thing for you that changes your life. You might want to do more of it. You might want to turn it into a business. And that would be amazing. But the point is that you need to recognize what it is you're passionate about. And if you are in a position where you feel stuck, you feel like you've just gone with the motions, and that's exactly what I did. I was in that position, and it took me a while. It took me a while to figure it out. I'm not going to pretend that it was an overnight job, because it wasn't. But this is what I'm saying, is that we all have these things in our lives that we absolutely love doing, or there might be something in our lives that we really hate doing, but we're not always aware of it. We're not always aware of what is making us unhappy, making us feel less than fulfilled than we should be. And equally, sometimes we don't know what it is that makes us really happy, and we just continue doing the same thing over and over and over again, and then one day it just hits us, or over time it might hit us, that actually maybe we should be doing more of that. That thing that we love, that's probably the thing that we should be focusing on more. So I just wanted to let you know that if you are this kind of person, the one that's gone with the motions, the one that has had this idea about themselves for time and time again over the years, and you've kind of reached a point where you don't want to continue like this. You want to really start to unleash what you have inside with the world. And if you're this person, then I would highly encourage you to start really connecting with what it is you love doing, and think of how you can do more of it, what you can create with that, maybe how you can help more people with that, because I think that's what the world needs right now, is more people like you to have these realizations about themselves. And who knows, you having that realization about you could inspire even more people to do what you've done. And this is what I am on a mission to do. I want to inspire more women to realize what they love doing more of and act on it. Take the action. Like my program name, Action Takers, too many of us don't take the action, and we end up feeling stuck for a while. But it doesn't have to be that way, because I'm giving you permission to go with what you absolutely love doing, and really connect with it on a new level, a more exciting level, a way that is going to really help you to bring it out more in your life and be able to do more of it. So I'd love to have a chat with you if you are this person, if you think that you've got something inside that you want to unleash, but you don't know how to do it. Maybe you're a bit worried about how you're going to do it. Maybe it's not feeling very comfortable because it's totally new to you, but that creative passion superpower inside is something that is very special, and I really want to be able to help you to put it out there into the world and to be able to move forward with it in a way that feels really good for you. So if you do have this kind of feeling inside, please get in touch. I'll put the link in the show notes to my email address, and I would love for you to share your thoughts on this episode, because I just find it so important that we have these conversations, because I don't think we have enough of these conversations really, where we are sharing what is really important to us in life, our values, what we stand for, what our mission is. And this is why I just had to talk about this today. So I hope it's made sense to you. But yeah, I would love to hear how you found it, and if it had if it resulted in any light bulb moments for you, if you jumped up listening to this and was like, oh yeah, this is it, I've got it. Or maybe it wasn't as easy as that, and you've got the food for thought in your head, but you're kind of thinking, well, it's all well and good, but I've got too many ideas now, or that I just can't identify exactly what it is. Well, I would like to talk to you as well, because we all come on different paths into this process of creativity. So yeah, I would love to talk to you as well and be able to help you move forwards with your amazing ideas. So I hope you have a lovely Easter weekend. If you're abroad somewhere else, maybe it's not a bank holiday for you, but I just hope you have a fantastic time doing whatever you're doing. And I'll be back next Friday for another episode of the Creative Goddess Show. And just to let you know as well, I am running a competition, as I mentioned last week. So if you review this podcast on Apple Podcasts, all you have to do is take a screenshot of your review. Literally, take less than a minute. It doesn't have to be long. Just quickly know your thoughts on the podcast, and if you're enjoying it, you take a screenshot of that review and send it over to me in an email to hello@creativegoddessclub.com. I'll put the email address in the show notes. But yeah, if you just do that, send it over to me, I will put you in a draw to get a free one-on-one coaching session with me, and it's going to be amazing. I just can't wait to be able to give this session away. It means so much to me to be able to connect with you and to be able to find out more about you, my lovely listeners, who I appreciate so much. So yeah, don't forget to enter that competition. It will be closing next Friday, so on the 22nd of April. So make sure you have it submitted before then to be in with a chance of winning the coaching session. So yeah, if you want to watch this on YouTube, I'm uploading it this week as well. So make sure you go check it out on there if you want some visuals. I will speak to you again next week, lovelies. Take care.